You're somebody who is a leader. You're in charge of a lot of people. You run a lot of stuff. You're always out there. And I think we all deal with a little bit of imposter syndrome where we go, well, I couldn't do this. I didn't do this 100%. But I think what you're doing and being upfront about that you're not perfect, but every day you're working on it. And even though maybe you're not 100%, you're still moving the needle. You're still moving the goal line. You're still getting momentum there. And I think that like cliche of failing forward is really what that is. It's like, hey, maybe it wasn't here, but it's there. And I think being honest about that and not quitting and just keep getting up when you get off track is what makes you a great leader. And I know that that's been a big part of your growth and your success, especially more of your focus over the last year or so, is really developing the leadership side of that. So, talk a little bit about that, of being a good leader and some of the things you've learned and some of the things you've implemented over the last 6, 12, 18 months to really change that dynamic.
It's the thing, like, if you were to ask me, how will you expand into multiple markets? The answer would be people. Well, what about legislation? People. What about rising interest rates? People. What about competition? People. And it is very cliche, right? Like, it's one of the things I've learned that everybody preaches, but nobody practices. And I just made a decision a couple years ago that we would be different. And, we do things like pray together. We exercise together. I help every single one of my people map out a 10-year personal plan about how they will improve, evolve, and measure their accomplishments with their body. For some people, that's one of the guys here wants to hike the entire Appalachian Trail when he'll be 67 years old. Another guy wants to be in the top 10% of men his age in 10 years, which he'll be 39. So he wants to be in the top, I'm sorry, 1% of athletes at his age. There's a young lady here that wants to start her own business with her husband in 10 years. Everybody would say, business is about having the best people. But then when you look at how they spend their day, they're not out there looking for the best people or taking care of the best people that already work there and doing whatever they can to keep them. They're doing deals or sending more postcards, or, they're doing everything other than the thing they said is the most important thing. And my leadership style has very much been understanding where I've come from, what's allowed me to win in certain aspects of my life, and being vulnerable and transparent and honest with myself about the areas where I have the room for the most improvement, and then asking for help and offering help. And in my experience, you've ever heard of like the 5 F's that people talk about: family, friends, finance, fitness, and faith. We did a company-wide book read here, which is something we do. We read a book every month, and we meet every Monday, and we have a 30 to 35-minute workshop where we all get together and teach and learn from it and talk about it. And that's part of us helping people grow. And we read a book by Ed Milet called Power of One More. And in that book, he introduces this concept of what he calls the core four. And he says it's basically the four legs of human fulfillment and success. And it's body, your physical and mental well-being; being, your pursuit of your calling, like your existential purpose, or the way I describe it is your relationship with yourself. You guys on good terms, bad terms, or you beefing, or are you best buddies? And then balance. Everybody talks about work-life balance, but how does it show up in your culture? What are your actual rules when it comes to time away or vacation? So we focus on balance as well. And we identify that in three key areas: the relationship with your spouse or significant other, the relationship with your children, and then your relationship with your extended family and your friends. And then business. How are we tracking on wealth accumulation and creating freedom by being a good steward of the opportunity and the finances that the Lord has given us access to? And along with that comes a skill development that allows us to continue to have a bigger impact and a bigger paycheck. And we do all that stuff. We talk about it. We revisit it. We hold each other accountable. We create opportunities. We measure it. So that has been, I think, the pivotal decision that we made as an organization about 5 years ago that has opened up all these amazing opportunities for us and will continue to protect us in volatile economies and raising construction prices and interest rates. And when they fall, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. If you got the right people doing the right things the right way, while we might be met with some adversity and challenges, we feel confident that we'll be able to win more than we lose. And we'll all celebrate that together. So leadership is my primary focus. And for me, that means the development of people.